Earlier today on the Raja show, Raja had a very special guest, a Pittsburgher, Regis McKenna, who truly is one of the biggest movers and shakers ever in Silicon Valley. And, I thought he was the go-to guy when it comes to Gates and obviously Steve Jobs and our connection, right? Well, wrong. Bill Campbell, 75 years of age, passed away this week, just 3 days ago. And as a matter of fact, Homestead, of course, that great steel town for many years, was also his town. He played football there. His father was a school teacher there. The football field is named after his father. But when I found out about his legacy on the Raja show in the world of technology, I was blown away, especially when you think about Apple and that brand. Regis had an amazing interview, Raja did with Regis. So please tell everybody about Bill Campbell and his legacy, the former Pittsburgher. Darryl.
You said it, Rob. A lot of people in Silicon Valley look up to Regis McKenna as an icon, as somebody who really shaped the path for a lot of the companies to go to market, the Apples, the Microsofts, the HP, as you said. Regis was a guy who looked up to Bill Campbell. Bill Campbell, as you said, Homestead native, Columbia University football coach. He was the coach. And had about a 5-year run in the 1970s, losing record, but it turns out the winning record he had was in Silicon Valley after that. A lot of times when entrepreneurs start a business, they have an idea in their head, and that's it. Just an idea, a thought, maybe a plan to go to market. But the one thing they lack is the ability to get people to buy in, to build a company, to actually lead people. Bill Campbell was a guy who worked with the Steve Jobs of the world, Jeff Bezos of Amazon. The Google guys, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, and others, countless others. And he was the one who taught entrepreneurs how to be leaders, how to be CEOs, how to be executives, how to get people to buy into what they're doing and to get them to follow through that brick wall through thick and thin. And that's the impact that Bill Campbell had. I actually got to talk to him once in a previous life, and it was actually pretty impressive just to be, it was a phone call, but it was the aura that he had. And Regis, of course, was one of his best friends. And earlier today on the show, as you said, we talked with Regis about his memories of Bill Campbell. And that show is actually going to be up on our website, as well as KDKA's, in just a few minutes.
And I'm actually going to share some of the comments from that interview with Mr. McKenna and Raja on election night Tuesday when we welcome the guys from Heffron Tillotson, because we're going to be talking with these two senior research analysts. They are Brian Coble and Mauricio Viad, about business trends for 2016. And these gentlemen, meaning Regis and the late Bill Campbell, are going to be always trending business because of what their blueprint, their thumbprint, their footprint was during that amazing time. I mean, the thing that I remember Raja talking about, really, and Regis agreed, was the fact that he may have saved the Google company, Bill Campbell, right?
Exactly, absolutely. And that was the impact that Bill had. I mean, he was a guy who people listened to, people looked up to, people respected. And I think that was, with his passing, there's going to be a major void in Silicon Valley and in Homestead, in Pittsburgh.
Isn't it ironic? I told this to Regis. We have people like Facebook and Google coming here, and when you think about this place being a manufacturing base, when guys like Bill Campbell were young in the steel industry, and Frick and Carnegie, it's almost like they're coming back to pay homage to those movers as far as the manufacturing base, because one of the things Raja has talked about, these technology jobs are really our generation's manufacturing blue-collar jobs.
Exactly. Everything comes full circle. It's kind of funny how things work around here. It's one industry leaves, another industry comes back and really just replaces it. And it's the circle of life, as I say here in Western Pennsylvania.
One more thing, because I was very moved by this interview and the legacy of Bill Campbell, who I never knew about. And I take a little bit of passion, and I really want to make sure that I know who the people who laid the groundwork before me are. People like George Westinghouse and Carnegie and Frick and Morgan. We talk about it. But the thing that Regis and Raja talked about was where a lot of guys in that industry would patronize somebody like a Steve Jobs or, Bill Gates because of who they were and their status, and they were kind of in the pecking order. That wasn't the case with Bill Campbell, whether he was at Apple or anywhere. Even if it would cost him his job, or it might not have been the right thing to say, if he believed it and did his homework, he would lay the cards on the table and say, this is what I believe and this is how we should do it.
Definitely put the cards on the table, laid it on the line, and that's what earned him the respect and the admiration of a lot of people, and important people at that, in Silicon Valley.
There's no place other than the Raja Show that you get stuff like this every Sunday from 11 to noon, and he is the executive producer, Darryl Grandy. Have yourself a wonderful day from your Pratte Pack.